Hello, class. My name is Kelly Neal, and I am going to be so excited to meet you in January when we get together for our class. I'm so happy to be going back to a live class. I can't even begin to tell you. With that being said, there are unfortunately a lot of rules that come with that. You do have to wear your mask at all times, and we would actually prefer it to be an N95 while you're in our class, even in the classroom setting. And the only reason for that is with the vaccines and an N95, even if we do get a COVID outbreak in the class, chances are we won't all be quarantined if we've been wearing N95s. So I'm double checking that with the health center, but just know that we are probably going to ask you to wear an N95 respirator mask when you're in lecture. In clinical, some of the facilities are requiring N95 masks and some are requiring regular masks with face shields. And some are requiring both. So we will be doing whatever the facility requires, and we will fit test you for an N95 respirator mask. But if you have some to start the class off with, that's probably a good idea. As you might have noticed, and we did send you a welcome letter and kind of an information letter, and it is also posted on Canvas for you if you didn't get that for some reason. We are a very intense class in the first month of our schooling. This is something that the federal law and state law has a lot of requirements that we have to cover with you before we're allowed to take you into the clinical facility. Your first 3 weeks of school, both clinical and theory, we're all going to be covering theory content hours with you. And on the third week, we will start teaching you a few skills. Week 4 is when we start in the clinical setting, because the state requires us to make sure that we cover certain topics with you before we let you go into a patient setting. And this is the only way we can meet all of their criteria and still get you enough clinical hours to meet the state mandate. So these first 3 weeks are just brutal. I mean, they're absolutely brutal. We are going to cover so many topics and so many chapters, and you have to test on each topic before you're allowed to move on. So you're going to find that there's these little mini quizzes as well after every set of chapters. You're going to be doing a homework assignment to get you ready for the test, hopefully, or to help reinforce some key points, and then you will take a test. And so in these first 3 weeks, we are going to cover over 25 chapters. You're going to have about 11 homework assignments, and I can't remember, it's like 9 or 10 quizzes in addition to it. It's really awful, really, really brutal. By week 4, it'll get better, I promise. If you can just stick with this the first 3 weeks and just bear with it and crack down and just stay on top of the reading, stay on top of the homework and the quizzes. About week 4, it's going to start balancing out. Clinical will become clinical. Now, it's not that you won't have little homework assignments and little quizzes in clinical, but they aren't very intense. They are not very time consuming. Theory will become just 1 day a week, and we will cover anywhere between usually 1 and 4 chapters that week. And then you'll usually have a homework assignment and a quiz that will go with it, but it's going to become much more manageable. So all I can ask you is to please just really crack down. I want to explain this projected class schedule because it gets really confusing. And I know a lot of you have already contacted me saying, Kat, what chapters do I start with? How can I get going in this? Because, we've already warned you that it's pretty time intensive. So on Canvas, you will see a theory projected class schedule. And we do 2 lectures. There's a lecture on Tuesday mornings from 9 to 12:20, or there's a lecture on Wednesdays from 1 to 4:20. So depending on which day you signed up for, okay? What we teach on Tuesday, we then teach again on Wednesday. So for instance, if you're in the Thursday or Friday clinical, and let's say you're supposed to come to Tuesday lecture, and your kid has a recital that day, and you say, hey, can I come into Wednesday instead? Absolutely. What we teach on Tuesday, we teach the exact same thing on Wednesday. You only have to come to one of them, but you do have to come to one of them. So it'll show you, if you look here on this projected class schedule, it'll say week 1, Tuesday, either 1:11 or Wednesday 1:12 in HSC 226. This is your theory day. We are going to cover orientation, review of the syllabus and handbook, and we're going to start what we call CDPH Module 1. Now, There are 17 modules that the state of California says we have to teach you, and these chapters will correspond to the modules. But unfortunately, your book doesn't list them in modules, and so I used to not even put what module we were covering, but the state says I have to. So California Department of Public Health Module 1, which is Introduction to a CNA, and your chapters 1, 3, 4, and 6 correspond with the content for that. So I really don't care if you pay attention to this, what the CDPH module is called, but you definitely want to know what the chapters are that we're covering that day. So this is your first theory day with me. So we're going to cover chapters 1, 3, 4, and 6. You are going to have a homework assignment that will be due on the 17th and a quiz corresponding with that on the 17th. Okay, so you're saying, okay, that doesn't sound too bad, but week 1, your clinical day, that 8-hour clinical day that you have, remember the first 3 weeks are going to count towards theory. So on week 1, your first clinical day, and if you're signed up for the Monday clinical, you go on Monday. If you're signed up for the Tuesday clinical, you go on Tuesday. If you're signed up for the Wednesday clinical, you go on Wednesday. If you're signed up for the Thursday clinical, you go on Thursday. If you're signed up for the Friday clinical, you go on Friday. Okay? So you only go one day, your clinical day that you are signed up for, that's on your college schedule. And you have to be there at 7 a.m. sharp in TR16. That's the portable trailers that are right between the Learning Resource Center and the Health Center. Now, look at what we're covering here. Module 2, Module 3, Module 5, and part of Module 15. Brutal, okay? And it's going to be an 8-hour day, and it's going to be a really difficult thing for you to tolerate just sitting there for 8 hours doing theory content. It's painful, and we understand that. But we don't have a choice in this. This is a CDPH mandate. Look at all the chapters we're going to cover in that one day. 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 18, 19, and 20. This is all still part of week 1. So there's week 1 theory, your week 1, your clinical day, which is still counting towards theory. We're going to do another homework assignment on communication and communicating with the healthcare team, a homework assignment on body mechanics and moving the person safely. There's some videos that will correspond with those that we want you to watch that are going to be on Canvas. And then you're going to take quiz 2 and quiz 3. All of this is going to be done by the 17th. The very first week of school on the 17th. You've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chapters, 3 homework assignments, and 3 quizzes in the very first week. And we understand this is a lot. It's not that the content is super difficult, it's just a lot of it, and it's a lot to process. So that's one of the reasons why we really wanted you to get your book early and possibly start looking at it early, because otherwise you're going to feel really overwhelmed the first couple weeks. Then you'll notice week 2. I put it in green, so you'll make sure you understand that both of these sections are part of week 2. We are going to do CDPH Module 6, and we are going to do CDPH Module 6 and Module 13. Chapters 16 and 17 are going to correlate with that, and we will you will do a homework assignment on infection control and then a quiz on that. Then your second week, your long day in TR16, okay. Again, if you're in the Monday group, Monday, I believe, is a holiday, so Tuesday, you're going to come on Tuesday. Wednesday, you're going to come on Wednesday. Thursday, you'll come on Thursday. Friday, you'll come on Friday, and then the following Monday, you'll come on the 24th to get your second week content. We're going to cover again Module 4, Module 8, Module 12, and Module 14. Look at all those chapters we're going to cover again. So in week 2, we're covering 16, 17, 13, 14, 15, 27, 29, 34, 45, and 58. You'll have 3 homework assignments off of that and 3 more tests. So in week 2, we've got another 4 homework assignments, another 4 quizzes. So this is why I'm telling you, you can't procrastinate in this class. You will drown. You have to, the state requires that I give you a module quiz on every single module we cover, and you have to pass it to stay in the program. So on these quizzes, and I will I will show you Canvas, but on these quizzes, you will get 3 attempts to pass this quiz. It will be done online. We will talk about the quizzes will be done online, large exams will be done in class. So it will be done online through Canvas. You'll have 3 attempts to pass it, and if you don't pass it, you have to contact me, and I'm going to give you remediation work, and the remediation work is not going to change your grade, but it's going to let you stay in the class. So as I'm saying, a lot of work here these first few weeks. Week 3, same thing. You'll meet with me on either the Tuesday or the Wednesday. We're going to cover the rest of Module 2 and Module 11. It's chapters 30 and 31 are going to correspond with that, and you've got 2 homework assignments and 2 quizzes off of that. And then your 3rd day of clinical. Still does not count as clinical time. This is all going towards theory for you right now. And we're going to cover part of Module 8 and part of Module 9. You don't have a test quite yet then. That one will come the next week. So now we get to week 4. Now on week 4, theory is theory, clinical is clinical. You're going to go to the clinical facility. You're going to be going to the clinical facility for your clinical days. And I promise on week 4, once you get into the clinical facilities and you start interacting with the patients, and it's going to be kind of scary at first if you've never done patient care, but you're going to start interacting with the patients. You're going to start learning how to communicate with them, learning your skills, and most of the students really enjoy it, okay? A little intimidating at first, but they really enjoy it. And theory will become theory. So the topics we cover in the 3-hour and 20-minute lecture that you have with me, that's what you'll be tested on. So it's going to start becoming much more manageable on around week 4, but you've got to hang in there and tight with me until you get to that point. You're going to notice, so week 4 and week 5 and week 6, all this is theory that I'm listing here. Your clinical homework, clinical assignments you will get from your clinical instructor. Okay. You will notice on week 6, it says exam 1, all chapters learned to date on weeks 1 through 5 in-class exam. We will have a couple large exams, which are cumulative of what we've learned, and on the end of the semester, you will also do a cumulative final. So this is not content that you want to just, I just need to do it to pass this little quiz and I can forget it. This is content that you will base your foundation of nursing in and that you have to learn. And when you go on, for many of you that will go on for your RN, this is your foundation. And when you get into the RN program, if you take it here at Ventura College, it's expected that you still remember your basic skills and this basic knowledge content that we're giving you, because they're not going to teach it to you. They expect you to know it, and they're going to build on it for you. Okay, so this is how this schedule tends to work. I also wanted to show you all the way down towards the bottom of it. I also have your clinical days. You're going to notice that Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays have to go from 7 to 3:30, not 7 to 3, or we can't get all the state mandated hours. The first 3 weeks don't count towards clinical, they count towards theory. And so the rest of it, because of holidays and spring break, some of the clinical settings or some of the clinical labs are missing time because of that. They won't get the minimum hours required for the state. We will also be talking about this in class, but I do want to just give you a heads up. With COVID, we're really a little concerned about how this is going to go with COVID this semester. The state has decided not to, they have taken away our waivers. We are not allowed to do your makeup days in the skills lab anymore. They have to be done at the clinical facility. If you get sick for any reason in this class, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you've had a death in your family, if you've had a sick kid, if you get COVID, I'm sorry, but you have to make it up. All clinical time has to be made up. All theory time has to be made up. If we get kicked out of clinical because they're having a COVID outbreak for a week or 2 while it's going on, we still have to make it up. So it's going to be a challenging semester. And every semester has been a little bit different. I've not had 2 semesters the same since COVID has started. And I am concerned about it. I know a lot of you are concerned about it, but so far, knock on wood, we've been able to get every class through it. One of the classes we had to extend. We couldn't get done on time. We had to extend into the summer to be able to finish up with them because of the COVID cases and the facilities kicking us out for a while before we could get back in. So I'm hoping with the vaccines that's not going to happen again. But I just have to let you know we just don't have any guarantees for you right now. And I'm sorry about that. And we will do our very, very best to get you through this class. The other thing I want to give you a heads up on is that you guys were told that you had to have your vaccines, your flu immunization, and your COVID vaccines to even get into this class. So I know you guys already have that done. But they are talking about making the booster mandatory as well. So if your vaccines were done more than 8 months ago, the facilities, they still haven't given me a definite answer, but it looks like there's a good chance you're going to be required to get your booster vaccine as well if it's been more than 8 months since you've had your COVID vaccines. So I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up on that too. So we will be talking about the syllabus, the rules, the uniform policy, all of that good stuff. But I know some of you have been asking me, how do I get started? Is there something I can start working on while during Christmas break? I always applaud eagerness for my class, but I do want you to enjoy your Christmas break. But yes, if you can get started on these chapters, and this is where you want to start, 1, 3, 4, and 6, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 18, 19, and 20. If you haven't borrowed a book from Sabrina, please come get one ASAP so you can start looking at these things. I'm hoping I hit publish on Canvas today, so I'm hoping it's up there for you. And I'm really, really looking forward to meeting you in January. I really hope you'll enjoy this class. Most of the students really like it once we get into the clinical setting. They just hate the first 3 weeks. And so just bear tight with me and hope and it'll get better. That I can tell you. Okay? All right, I'll look forward to meeting you.